Hey there, hello friends, welcome to the second video of Biologue. In the last video, we have studied about the history of cell and a quick introduction to our topic, that is cell structure and organization. In this video, we will be dealing with types of cells. Now, when we say types of cells, they are basically divided into two types, that is a prokaryotic cell and a eukaryotic cell. So today we are going to concentrate more on prokaryotic cell, but let's first get a difference between the prokaryotic and eukaryotic cell. When we say a prokaryotic cell, the word itself means a primitive nucleus. Now what is primitive? It is the first, we can say, the living organism that came into existence and which was followed by all the other things. Hence it is known as a primitive nucleus. And a eukaryotic, on the other hand, is the advanced version of your prokaryotic cell. So, when we compare them on both sides, we have a simple organization, cellular organization in prokaryotic cell, while a higher degree of organization in eukaryotic cell. To understand it further, we can take an example of plate, a simple circular plate which we bombard with a lot of food stuff, such as we have a sweet in it, maybe a gulab jamun, we have a dal, rice, sabzi, everything in one single plate without any partition. Now what will happen? It will all get mixed up. Okay, so everything is, your dal is running over near the gulab jamuns, and the sweet taste is getting mixed with the spicy vegetable and all the mess. Whereas on other hand, you have a plate which is well partitioned into different compartments, wherein you can have a sweet at one side, you can have the spicy vegetable in one, and you can have your dal or salad in different counters. So you will have a different, we can say, compartmentalization. So I hope it is clear now that prokaryotes are the cells which lack well-defined nucleus or other membrane-bound organelles, while your eukaryotes, which are the advanced cells as we said, and they have all the membrane-bound organelles with them. So now as we study prokaryotes in detail, let's have a look at your prokaryotic cell. Now as you can see, the outer membrane of a prokaryotic cell, when you zoom it, it is divided, the cell envelope we can see is divided into three parts. The outermost layer is known as capsule or glycocalyx. It is named as glycocalyx because it is made up of polysugars and proteins, polysaccharides mostly. Then inside to your capsule is the cell wall. All right, and inside the cell wall, we can find the plasma membrane, that is the innermost membrane of your cell envelope. Now, coming back to the cell wall, it is made up of peptidoglycan. Now, why do we need a cell wall? Cell wall, or we can say capsule, they are for the protection of cell. They can protect in harsh environments, they can protect from their, we can say, the harmful toxins or other bacteria. So they protect themselves with the help of the cell wall, as we had explained in our earlier video, that the walls of our house, they protect us, and they are mainly for, we can say, letting in and letting out of the people. In the same way, in cells, these cell walls will act as a barrier, okay, which will disallow certain things and which will allow the useful things to come in. So what is the role of this cell wall? On the basis of cell wall, we can divide the bacteria into another classification, that is gram positive and gram negative. Now this cell wall is made up of peptidoglycan. Alright, so this peptidoglycan, it is thick in some cells and it is very thin in other. Now on basis of these variation, the scientist known as Hans Christian Gram devised this technique called as gram staining, which helps us differentiate between gram positive and gram negative bacteria. All right, now what happens in gram staining is, when you see two bacterias, when we when we process them with the stain, that is crystal violet, The gram positive, which have a higher peptidoglycan or a thicker peptidoglycan layer, they will absorb the stain, while in gram negative they won't absorb it that much. So when we wash it with an alcohol, in gram negative case, the stain will easily be removed, while in gram positive cells, the stain retains itself. Now, on counter staining, counter that is again when we stain it with a different stain, okay, what happens is the gram positive organism they will retain their purple or we can say violet blue color, while gram negative will turn pink in color. They decolorize easily the first stain and hence they get the color of the second stain, and hence we can classify it into gram positive and gram negative. So gram positive are your violet or blue colored and gram negative are pink colored organisms. Getting more closer to our prokaryotic cell, we can observe that there are this thin hair-like structures present on it. So the single large structure, a tail-like structure, is the flagellum, which is held for locomotion. Locomotion is the movement of your cell. Okay, so it has a motor, we can say movement, like we have for keys or we have the water boats that we use, the toys. So when we key it, in the same way, the flagellum has a motor kind of circular movement, and hence it pushes the cell to move forward. So flagellum is for locomotion. Then you have the small cilia that is present. Now the role of the cilia is again locomotion. In absence of flagella, the cilia, unlike flagella which is singular present at one side, your cilia will be present throughout the cell, and they have the oar-like movement like we have in boats. Okay, so this oar-like movement will make your cell move. Now, there are two more components that are present, which are fimbriae. Now, what are fimbriae is they are the hook-like structures which are present on your cell, and also they help in attachment. Okay, like a hook, they attach to the host, we can say, or to whatever thing they want to for absorption of nutrient, for attachment purpose, for whatever. And the fourth one is pili. Pili is mainly for the transfer of F plasmid. We will see it in detail when we study about plasmid. So for now, just understand that there are one or two pili like structures that are present on the cell, which are useful for transfer of plasmid. Now, next structure that we are going to see is nucleoid. Now, nucleoid, when we say oid, it is like, as we say in case of Android, it is the robot that is human like. So, oid is like something, like human. In the same way, nucleoid is like nucleus. So, it is not a well defined nucleus, but it is something like a nucleus. Now, this nucleoid, it consists of a single chromosome, a single circular chromosome, which replicates itself in a form of theta model. Now, theta model is nothing but to imagine one circle, and we have another circle that is growing on in it with the help of the first circle, and it will separate itself out. So, that is your theta replication. So, now moving on to the next organelle that is present in prokaryotic cell is plasmid. Now, what is plasmid? Plasmids are the extra chromosomal DNA. So, we saw that in nucleoid we have a single chromosomal DNA, the circular DNA. Now, this plasmid, it is a DNA, but it is not the chromosomal DNA. So, we have this an extra chromosomal DNA. So, it is not present in your nucleoid, it is present outside. It is a self replicating DNA molecule. Okay, so it will replicate on itself, and again, it is a circular small DNA molecule which carries few genes along with it. Okay, so now there are two types of plasmids. We have F plasmid and R plasmid. So F plasmid is used for reproduction, or we can say conjugation, for transfer of this F plasmid. So when we saw in pili, when I said that I'll be explaining it further, these pili that we were talking about, They are one or two present per cell. Now these pili will help in transfer of this F plasmid that is present in one cell and which is absent in the other cell. So this strand will move through your pili into your other cell, and there it will self-replicate. As we have seen, it is a self-replicating molecule, so it will again get its basic double-stranded structure, and hence it becomes an F plus cell. All right. Now, what is an R plasmid? It is the gene that is present in this plasmid, which is responsible for resistance against the antibiotics. Now, as we see in case of tuberculosis, the bacteria has gained resistance. Now all these genes that we see, that this bacteria is this resistant and that resistant, so all this is mainly held in this genes that are present in your plasmid. Now the next one is ribosome. So when we say ribosomes, they are actually made up of two components, a larger subunit and a smaller subunit. When we talk about ribosome in case of prokaryotes, we say it is 70S. Now what is this S? This S stands for Swedberg unit, named after the scientist who found it out. But the confusion always is, if the larger subunit is 50S and the smaller subunit is 30S, how come the ribosome of a prokaryotic forms 70S? So it goes like this when he found the sedimentation. So S, the Swedberg unit, is nothing but the sedimentation rate that we have for these ribosomes. So when we find the sedimentation rate of these subunits, they have 50 for the larger and 30 for the smaller subunits. But when we get the rate of a entire ribosome, we have it 70S, and hence it is 70S in prokaryotic. So the main function of your ribosomes is protein synthesis of proteins. Then we have chromatophores. Chromatophores are the colored pigments. In case of photosynthetic bacteria, they are green in color, and they are purple in case of chemosynthetic bacteria, cyanobacteria in that cases. So we have mesosomes, which are the infoldings, which are membrane infoldings, and also we have certain inclusion bodies. Now what are inclusion bodies are? They are the aggregates of proteins which are produced by prokaryotic cell itself for their protection. Okay, so they are roaming around freely. So as we have seen, these are the different organelles of a prokaryotic cell, starting from the cell envelope to the nucleoid, plasmid, ribosomes, and mesosomes, inclusion bodies. So all these organelles together form and help in functioning of a prokaryotic cell. In the next video, we will be seeing what are eukaryotic cells. So stay tuned and keep learning. Thank you.